Hey crafters, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to make a platform pop-up card with Lawn Fawn stamps and dies. Hope you enjoy. So I started this card by stamping the Party Pig stamp set from Lawn Fawn. This includes a cute little pig, a speech bubble, and also a little present. And I knew that I wanted to stamp this image more than once, so to save time, I used my stamp platform, and after stamping it, I rotated the paper, and I repeated this until I had 4 little pigs, presents, and speech bubbles. Then I die cut all the images with the coordinating dies. Then I used a piece of paper which is big enough to hold some die cut letters, and I covered it in saltwater taffy distress oxide. And I used Henry's ABCs for this card. Now before die cutting the letters, I made sure that this was completely dry, and then I die cut OINK to spell oink. Once these were die cut, I used my grapefruit colored stickles and added some color on the top of each of the 4 letters. Once I was happy with this, I set these aside to dry completely before attaching them to the rest of the card. Now to decorate the base of the card, I used some of the pink paper from Spiffy Speckles, and I stamped the tiny little pig from Tiny Farm. And I stamped this in Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I went ahead and stamped oink in random places in between the pigs. And I did this on both of my panels. I colored them in with Copics, and you can see how cute they are here. Now to decorate my platform pop-up, I die cut some grass pieces and inked them with cracked pistachio distress oxide. And I did this 7 times. It's just a lovely shade of green. And then I die cut the Platform Pop-Up add-on out of clear acetate, and I glued the oink letters onto the top. Now if you're using acetate, just be mindful that not all wet glue will stick to it, and sometimes it's best to use double-sided tape. The acetate that I'm using is the Lawn Fawn acetate, and I prefer this because it's a little bit thicker and it's quite sturdy for things like this. Now before assembling the platform pop-up, I'm going to add some grass onto the top rim of the front pop-up piece. So I just used some white glue for this and then glued the grass pieces right over the edge so that they're peeking through. And this is slightly too long, so once it's glued in place, I'll just trim off that excess piece of grass. So now I'm going to assemble the platform pop-up card, and I used 3 of the T pieces for this card. So 1 on each of the sides and then 1 T piece in the middle to secure the 2 sides together. Now I wanted there to be grass on the back of the card as well, but to make it a little bit easier, instead of adhering it directly onto the platform piece like I did here, I decided to add it onto the add-on piece, the acetate piece, which you'll see in a moment here. So once those pieces are joined together, you can see it already looks quite cute. I used double-sided tape on the acetate and then took 2 more of the grass pieces to adhere them on there. And I've already put double-sided tape on the back of this behind the grass, ready to adhere it afterwards. So I used the other 3 grass pieces and adhered them to each of the 3 parts of the platform pop-up. So 1 piece in the middle, 1 piece at the back, and 1 piece at the front. And I just love how this cracked pistachio matches the pink on the card. Such a beautiful color combination. So then I'm going to remove the double-sided tape on the back of that add-on piece and carefully adhere it into the back. And it was quite fiddly to do this. I would recommend making sure that it's nicely folded before you adhere this piece, as that helps. And one of my letters did fall off, so I had to use double-sided tape to adhere it afterwards. So now you can see that that platform add-on is nicely on there. So I die cut one of the rectangles that came with it, stamped on translation Happy Birthday, and put this in the middle of my Platform Pop-Up card. And this was one of the free stamps that I got from Lawn Fawn, but I know that it's in a few other stamp sets if you don't happen to have this one. And then the fun part, I added my cute little party pigs in various places on the card. And I wanted there to be speech bubbles over the party pigs, so I used some of my leftover acetate, cut it into strips, and then added some double-sided tape to it and adhered the little speech bubbles. And I ended up using these speech bubbles on various places across the card so that it looked like there was a lot of oinking going on. Now I made sure to use double-sided tape on the bottom of these pieces and then adhered them on either side of that translation Happy Birthday. I put the third pig on the back behind the translation sentiment so that you can quite clearly see him if you lift the card up on an angle. And the fourth pig, I wanted him to be a bit cheeky. So instead of just putting him on normally like the other three, I decided to put him on an angle at the front of the card so he's sort of peeking up over the grass. So I just trimmed him on a bit of an angle. So I cut off his front leg there, and then I added a bit of glue, and you can see he's sort of peeking up over the grass. So cute. And then to finish off this card and make it more of a birthday card, I added the 4 presents to the card as well. And I just colored these in various colors and then added some stickles to the bows, so it's really sparkly in real life. And I glued one on each of the pigs on either side of that sentiment. And I put one at the front beside the cheeky pig. And then I decided to put 2 at the back. So I used 5 presents in total. And I just put these on either side of the pig at the back. And that helps to fill out the scene a little bit and give it more interest. And the last thing I did on this card is I wanted a little area to write a sentiment. So I just die cut an extra rectangle and glued it on the back. Now, if you prefer, you could omit this step, but I like writing a little sentiment on my cards. And now you can see the finished platform pop up. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video inspiring. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you're notified whenever I post a new video. Have a crafty day!